It's 6:35 a.m. As the sun rises, you roll out of bed to start your day. A quick jog at 6:55. Shower at 7:25. Followed by breakfast at 7:40. Then you hop in your car at 8:07 and head downtown for a business meeting that starts promptly at 9. Sound familiar? Our 24/7 lives are organized down to the minute. Digital displays are everywhere, on our walls, in our cars, on our smartphones and computers. Analog clocks seem like ancient technology, but keeping track of time is something we've been trying to master for thousands of years. Roll back the clock, and you'll be amazed at how our early ancestors understood time and the ingenious ways they marked its passage. We humans are pattern-seeking creatures. Our earliest ideas about time came through simple observation, by looking for and finding patterns in both the earth and sky. But as civilizations flourished, timekeeping became a matter of basic survival. Predicting seasonal changes was critical to crop planting and harvesting. Many early civilizations, such as the Sumerians, used a lunar calendar to mark time. They followed the phases of the moon. Each of the 12 lunar months lasted 29 or 30 days. The year measured a total of 360 days. The lunar calendar was also adopted by the Greek, Roman, and early Egyptian civilizations. The Egyptians believed the moon held sway over the fertility of the land. Priest astronomers used one type of lunar calendar as a guide for planting to improve crop yields and bring greater wealth to Egypt. And a second lunar calendar was developed to help priests with the precise timing of their mummification rituals and other religious rites. The Egyptians were the first to develop an accurate calendar that followed the annual cycle of the sun more than 6,000 years ago. But to determine the start of a new year, they turned to the stars. The Egyptians noticed a pattern that connected the Nile's flooding to Sirius, the brightest star in their night sky. They called Sirius the dog star. The Nile River's flood was the most important event of the year. In a land prone to drought, the flood was needed to irrigate the farmland. Otherwise, crops would fail and the people would starve. In July, Sirius disappears from the night sky due to the rotation of the Earth. Instead, it rises and sets with the sun during the hottest days of the year, making it impossible to see. They called this period the dog days, an expression we still use today. When the dog days were over, Sirius would appear in the morning before sunrise, an event astronomers call the heliacal rising of Sirius. And the Nile would begin to flood soon after. This day was celebrated as the first day of the Egyptian New Year. As ancient civilizations developed, measuring time became even more critical. It provided a unifying way to keep track of important rituals and the tasks of daily life. In ancient Babylonia and Egypt, the world's first public sundials were obelisks. Their shadows would dance around the structure as the sun moved across the sky, providing citizens with a way to divide the day in two. The noontime sun marked the day's midpoint. While sundials were popular in the ancient world, the Greeks applied geometry and took the art of measuring time to a whole new level. They developed a sundial called the hemicycle. A rod called a gnomon was placed on a half-spherical face and aligned with the Earth's axis. This hollowed-out shape, combined with a pointed gnomon, provided the Greeks with two forms of time. The point of the gnomon specified the time of day, while the size of the shadow revealed the time of year. Of course, sundials were only effective when the sun was out. On cloudy days, it was anyone's guess. The water clock is one of the oldest forms of timekeeping and dates back to ancient Babylonia in the 16th century BC. Many civilizations adopted it, including the Greeks and Romans. Historical records mention water clocks being used in Roman courts to limit long-winded speeches. And in Persia, water clocks were used to determine how long farmers could draw water from wells for proper irrigation. Here's how it worked. A large bowl was filled with water. Its shape would allow water to flow at a nearly constant rate through a spout at the bottom. As the water slowly drained, markings on the inside of the bowl revealed the time. Although water clocks were generally reliable, the water flowed more slowly as the bowl emptied and the weight of the water decreased. Toward the end, it was barely a trickle, slowing time to a crawl as well. For the ancients, time-telling devices were more than a decoration or fashion statement. They helped them understand the world and aided in ensuring their survival. So, the next time you glance at your watch, take a moment to remember those early timekeepers and the ingenious ways they measured their lives.